What's good? It's your boy Postman, liveoffbeats.com, the Legends Music Group. Just want to say, man, this is going to be a great video. I'm going to be breaking down this beat I just cooked up. All the drum sounds, obviously, are from the Legendary pack. It's a fire pack. Every sound is thick. We're going to go through that later. But just real quick, it doesn't really matter what software you're using. I'm using Reason 10 for this, but I can make this beat in any software because I'm a producer. It's the skill set of the producer. I think right now we're getting too caught up in what software someone using. Oh, I'm using Fruity Loops. I can use all those softwares. I have most of those softwares, to be honest with you. And it doesn't really matter what software I use because as long as I can get my VSTs and my sounds, I can get my drums, I can get all that in there. Then the sequencer may change, but it's the producer and the skill set of the producer and the quality of the sounds that you use that determine whether you're gonna have a hot beat. So don't get caught up in the software. I'm going to start this beat from the actual second chorus and let it go into the bridge so you can see how I change it up. There are actually no samples in this. I played everything, obviously. And uh, oh, and I want you to pay attention to the drums, man. They cutting through and they hitting. And I let it play, like I said, through the bridge so you can hear exactly, how I make the changes and whatnot. So that's the beat, you know what I'm saying? Like that was the bridge part, and then went back into the chorus. So that way, because if I start from the intro and all that, it'll start build up slow. Because it's for an artist, it's not for production consumption, producer consumption. So it'll start off slow. So I just feel like we want to get to the meat and potato. But what you notice in this beat, man, it's not too difficult. It's about today's music. I want to make sure get this beat sold, get it exclusive sold out. So I have it tracked out. The most important part of this beat though, I started with the drums. The way I started with the drums was I need to get some thick sounds. I don't get inspired by weak, thin ass sounds. So that's been my problem with a lot of today's stuff on the internet. Is like I recently we did a recently did a what do you call that, a mastermind with producers, and I listened to their beats, and a lot of big problems with the drums were just too weak, and they kept trying to figure out, well, what is it about my drums, like how do I get it, do I just turn the volume up? And I'm like, well, it's not about the volume, it's the thickness of the sounds. And so I understand, because it's like you get these different kits or these drums or whatever, some of them come with the software, but they just don't have that thickness that cuts through the track. So that's the main thing for me, especially if you play chords or you do things like that, are musical, or you stack a lot of elements, you know what I mean? Because like I like to stack a lot of different elements. So even on that chord progression, there may have been a string chords, piano chords, uh, uh, a Rhodes chords, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when we break it down, you see, so this is the main chord progression here that I played. Now I stacked it on the chorus with this sound right here. Now that's also stacked with these strings. So together it sounds like this. And that's also one of my secrets. I'm giving out one of my secrets. One thing that I do to make the chorus sound fuller is I'll bring the strings and I'll stack up, the chord progression, just stack them with other nice instruments on the chorus. And then on the verse because you want the verse to really break down and sound very empty for the vocalist, and so people can pay attention to what's being said. So I'll break it down on the verse. That's the only thing that you'll hear. You won't hear the. See what I'm saying? So now the problem that I have is with the actual drum sound. See, now without having to do all this side chaining and all this engineering, I need to be making beats. I don't need to be sitting here trying to engineer because I'm a producer. I got beats to sell. You know what I'm saying? I got clients. So what I do is I find drum sounds that cut through. See, when you have stack your chords that thick, if you got a weak ass snare or weak ass drums, it's not going to cut through, and it's gonna muddy the sound of the drums, and it's going to sound very thin and weak and soft, and people are going to feel the record like they're supposed to. So I'll play the drums. I'll solo the drums so you guys can hear. And that's another secret I'm gonna give you on a drum tip is you notice how the drum, even the snares progress. So that adds, there's something called like when your beat has walk to it. And what I mean by walk is it sounds like it's progressing. Even the drums, it makes the person feel like the beat is moving somewhere. And so with the drums, that's why you hear me on the first snare is a thin, not a thin, but it's just a regular snare. And then I layer it with another snare on the second snare hit, and on the last snare hit, the fourth one, boom, it's like a big one. So now it feels like a progression. So it's just little things like that I think can take your beat to the next level that people don't pay attention to. So now that you heard me say that, listen to it again. And so also there's another kick I layered on that kick. Actually, it's down here. So I also layered another kick on top of that first kick that at the end of the bar. So it's boom, boom, boom. You'll hear it's like a percussion type of kick. So it's really a percussion. You'll hear it. See, it's right here at the last four. So you can't. It's not a. I said a kick. My bad. But it's a percussion that's like a little thing, but also has a hi hat underneath it. So it's just little things that add swag to your beat. And it's what's missing a lot of times. Like it's those little nuances. Like you add that swing and that flavor. So all these come from the legendary kit. So the legendary drum kit, that sound that you heard, that's not, and it's not just that. It has other elements. So listen to that. That's also there's an element of this. Not that sound wasn't in there. That's a different sound. This kick right here. That's the kick we use. That's the snare that I'm using from the legendary pack. There's another snare. That's the original snare that you hear. That's the layered snare, and then there's one more layer. That's the final fourth. That all these are in the legendary kit. That's the final fourth layer where you hear that big progression, like clack. So that's the last one. So that's the main snare that you hear throughout the beat. This is on every second snare, and this is on every fourth snare. So I'll play it again, so now you can hear it again. Like you'll now be aware of it. And you hear the little whatever that is. So basically, it's not a complicated beat at all, but it's in the sound. So before, like, I would take me forever because I'd be trying to use different drum sounds that they don't cut through, and that's what I'm looking for, is for the record to cut through the track. So it's very important that if you're making music for today, see, back in the day, like, the drums wasn't that important. It was all melody. But now I know, I love melody myself, but it has to be about drums, whether I'm doing urban, if I'm doing trap, no matter what I'm doing. Now in the legendary kit, why I like this kit so much is because every sound is made from scratch, right? It's not about just taking recycled drums, and the drums have character, and that's what what you don't really have in those other sounds. They're just straightforward sounds, kick, a snare, a clap, or whatever. And there's no character to them. See, that character is what makes you develop your own sound. So a lot of producers wonder, like, well, how do I have my own sound? It's because the drum sounds you're using has a certain character to them, that has a certain swing and swag that makes you play your keys different, that makes you think of different melodies. I heard Zaytoven say that. He was saying how, depending on how you do the drums and how the drums are, a lot of times it'll make your melodies come out like different. And I noticed that a long time ago when I was working with DJ Battlecat, and he would do the drums first all the time, and he told me that, when you do that drums, you may get a swing that, now when you get on the keys, it's a different swing that makes your fingers play differently instead of doing the same thing you've always done. And we don't even think of it as being the drum, but the drum is the rhythm of the track. It's the heartbeat of the whole track. So I'll go through some of the snares just so you can hear what's in the. You got to get this legendary pack now, though. You got to download it. I'm telling you, it's going to take your creativity to the next level. And really, it's gonna give you that signature sound that you've been looking for. Now, if you just want to, copy everybody else's sound, you want to sound like, Mike Will, or you want to sound like Southside and TM808, or you want to sound like 808 Mafia, or any of those, producers. Then that's fine, But if you want a Metro Boomin, and you want to be a carbon copy, this might not be for you. But if you're a producer, you say, okay, I'm ready to have my own sound. I want to have my own flavor, so people can say, you know what, I'm making a your type beat. You know what I'm saying? And you could do that, but it's in making your sound. Just think about Timbo. He used to have crying babies and all kind of crazy sounds in his beats, and crazy drum sounds, and that's what took him to that next level. So let's just go through some of these snares, through some of the kick. And so first thing you'll notice with these in the legendary kit is the character. That's what you'll notice first, is the actual character of the sound. And then you'll notice that it cuts through. It's not like a weak, thin, little trashy sound. So, see what I'm saying? And everything has character. Now, I want you to listen to that again. Listen to that again. Hopefully, I might gotta quit talking because I'm probably talking over it. So I'll play them again, and then we'll talk about it. Now, what you notice, they all have different characters to them, so the work has been done for you. You don't have time to sit there and try to go through all this mixing, stacking, and figuring it out, because you got to be making beats. And right now, like Zaytoven said, it's the producer who can really pump out quality stuff at a high rate and be efficient, because there's a huge demand and there's so many producers out there. You can't be sitting here sound designing as well as trying to make a beat. That's ludicrous. If you're doing that, you're not in the game. You're never going to be successful as far in terms of selling beats and being a producer that actually makes money, because you're not going to be able to output your beats fast enough, period. So there's some producers out there who say, man, I make all my own drum sounds and all that kind of stuff. That's cool, but notice none of those producers ever are successful as music producers. They never sell beats. Usually their beats are garbage because they take all this pride in making all their own drums. There's nothing wrong with that. I make my own drums, but I'm saying if you got to sit there and do that for every single beat, then what's going to happen is you're going to slow your progress and your process down to the point where you're not going to make enough beats to be successful. You got to be pumping these things out like crack for the most part, because there's so many producers out here. You got to stay on top of your game. So let's go over some of these kicks, man. These kicks is thumping, man. They cut through, and that's the thing about kicks. A lot of those kicks that I was getting in those other kits, the problem was they wasn't cutting through the track. They wasn't giving me that thump, especially if you're doing urban music or any type of trap or any type of even R&B now. Like, I'm not trying to make the soft R&B all the time where the kick is real light, you know what I'm saying, and you can't hear the drum. No, people want to hear bang today. They want the bang. That's what they looking for. They feel that. So these kicks cut through without you needing to do a whole bunch of tweaking and twisting. And notice the characters, little characteristics in there that make it different. So it adds a little flavor and swag that it's hard to pinpoint if you're the listener. Like, it's something about that beat that's swagging, but it'll be that. It's the little things, and that's what the rookie producers don't understand. See, I was blessed enough to learn under legends like the great DJ Battlecat, and I got to understand the nuances of being a pro as opposed to an amateur. And it's just little things that make your beat swag that you like, damn, it's something about that beat. it's not just a mate. All of us can play, 4 chords and put a kick in the snare. But why is it some beats like just feel like different? Like, ooh, this thing swagging. It's the sound choice. And a lot of them, and so you'll notice these kicks also aren't just straight up kicks. They got character embedded into the kick as well to help you bring creativity out of yourself. Listen to that. That's disgusting. I'm ready to make a beat right now. Woo! That right there, boy. I feel woo. Listen to that character. Listen to that character. Boom, 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 boom. Woo! That's that swag. I'm telling you. And you got 25 different ones to play with and 25 different snares, so that means that it's endless. You know what I'm saying? That's 50 beats right there. I mean, then you got hi-hats and the percussion. I'm not gonna go through those. I'm gonna keep them a secret for you, so that way because people hear that percussion, they'll be trying to figure out like, well, if you ain't got the legendary pack, you ain't gonna know what's in that. Percussion is vicious, and that's a big part of your swag too. So it's about the music, but it's about the drums as well, like the music, the chords, and the notes you play and all that. But the drums are the foundation, man. So to me, the legendary pack right now is the best pack I've ever heard. You got to get your hands on this pack right now. You got to download this pack and use it. Your inspiration is going to go through the roof. People are going to be like, yo, that sound you got is that ish. I'm telling you, they're going to be loving your new sound because it brings out creativity. When your drums have a certain swing and a swagger to them, it's like a certain spirit that hits you. And my key players know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? If you play keys, you understand what I'm saying. Is that rhythm of the drum that different and just brings something else out of you. Now, if you've been doing the same thing the same way, then that's why you're getting bored. Your creativity's being stifled. You got beat block. You're not being as creative as you usually are. You're not inspired. That's because you're using the same sounds in the same way. And so this is going to inspire you, bring new fire and juice and creative spirit to you, and as well, it's going to make your beats bang more. You can open up a beat that you have, take the drums out of that beat and put in the legendary drums, and you'll see the difference immediately. The character, the thickness, the cut through, everything is going to be a lot better, 100 times better. So I'll play the beat again just so you can hear it, you can vibe out. I'll play it from the intro, but download that legendary pack now, man. I'm telling you, it's a big, big. I'll put the link in there in case if you're watching from YouTube or whatever. But you got to download this immediately. So I'll play it from the intro, so that way you just vibe out a little bit. The legend. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. It's Postman. Get that legendary kit right now. Really enjoyed this. We're gonna have many more videos for you, but get that legendary kit right now. I'm telling you, it's gonna change the way you do music. Much love. Peace.